Finally finished up the miracles.
It's been like, what, a year?
I know. Well, there was so many though because
it's from the Old Testament.
Yeah, we started Old Testament, New Testament, which they were all really good. Really enjoyed doing them. But now we're gonna get into the parables, whereas they're gonna be a little more. Some of them are more detailed than others, like they usually are. A lot of them are in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. There's only a handful of them in, not even a handful are in John.
There's like 4.
Yeah, or something like that. Well, 1,
What constitutes a handful?
2, what is that?
How many parables can you hold in one?
I don't know. So far I've counted 2, yeah, maybe like 5. 2, 3. There's 3 parables in John, but we talked about why there's only.
Yeah. I thought it was a handful because how many fingers you have.
I don't. That's what I was thinking too. But I don't know.
Am I the only one who's like you associate the word several with being 7 things?
No. Well, I mean it's about that, but I don't.
Anyway,
so
we're
1,
I think
ready.
5.
2. Yeah, so I only see 3 that are recorded in John. That's a handful. Yeah, that's a handful. And so a lot of the parables are recorded in the New Testament, but as I was studying and stuff, I was wondering if there were parables in the Old Testament. And yes, they're not told by Jesus, but they're told by some of the prophets, just some of the, well, actually, it's really just the prophets that were telling them, and some of the priests that were technically prophets, because Samuel was a priest, but was a prophet also. And so there are more than a handful. I can't say there's 5 because there's a lot more than that. There are several in the New Testament. Old Testament. There's several in the Old Testament that we're going to look at those first. That way we can get to our New Testament ones because there's a lot of them in the New Testament from the 4 Gospels. Nice thing is the Bible that I'm using.
Can I look for? I want to find a publication year on this.
Yeah, I want what it is really old.
Yeah.
But it has good information and stuff in the Bible, to where it gives you a list of the parables and it tells you how many parables there are. It doesn't give the Old Testament. That's what I was looking for the Old Testament ones, but it gives you like all the New Testament ones.
It says BC on it.
BC.
There's an entire section in the beginning where it tells you like what the books contain, like a summary.
Yeah. And
how many chapters, verses, and words all of them have.
See, that's a cool Bible.
Psalms has 43,743 words. Wow. Jeremiah has 42,659 words, even though it only has 52 chapters. Because a lot of Psalms are so short.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. No, I was just saying how like using this Bible and how like the different information and stuff that it gives in it, and
study guide too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I can't find a publication date anyway.
Probably because it's before they mentioned
the National Bible Press, Philadelphia.
No date?
Nope. Printed in USA.
Well, so
T40.
So it's before 17 something.
Yeah, I got nothing.
It would be nice to know what year it was. Printed.
If I research
well, the
it,
way it is, though, it has Roman numerals.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When
did they stop printing?
Yeah, when did they stop printing? That's crazy.
I'll
usually all of them have at least something.
I don't know. They could have forgotten to look at the sundial. They do have some clues at least. We know it's before 1770 or after 1776.
I guess.
Right.
Probably a little bit after that, just because, you know, they're
That's
probably
Philadelphia Bible Press.
I thought it would say something about
It's
James.
from the 1930s.
Oh,
I
They're
found
still-
it on eBay.
they're still doing it. So they're still writing Roman
It's
numerals
got like the
then.
same leather cover.
Oh,
$30.
the parable.
Miracles that not of Jesus, but
Right.
that prove Jesus' divinity by
yes,
God.
yes. You know, we didn't do that either. But no, we didn't do the divinity ones.
I
Because
thought
there's
we did
a
a
whole.
couple.
We
It
did.
was
We
literally
did a
just John
few
the
through.
Baptist.
Yeah, it was John the Baptist. And
Yeah.
John. That was it.
Oh look, they even have the prayers
Oh my
of Jesus Christ in
goodness.
here,
Oh wow.
We've got a lot of ground to cover here.
right? Well, but look at all. That's the gospel sense. Here's the parables.
Jason Lyle.
All the parables. Just sometimes how they word the stuff in here. I'm just like, huh?
Right.
But the nice thing, okay, so the nice thing about this Bible, it gives you the illustration that is used, and it also gives you the lesson from the
No
that
wonder it's
parable.
that
That's
long.
cool.
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
it gives you the illustration, and then it gives you the lesson that
Wait a
was
second, that's the end of the Bible, and you still got that?
yes,
Yeah, because you have that, the concordance.
dictionary and map.
There's still
What is
a
that?
good chunk.
Answers, questions and answers.
They have a question and answer section.
Yeah,
Q&A.
frequently asked
FAQ.
questions.
yeah.
5,000
questions
questions
and
and
answers on the Old and New Testament.
They have an
Oh, Lord.
FAQ.
That'd be
frequently
great
asked
for
questions
Bible
about the Bible.
trivia.
Oh, that'd be a good Bible trivia. That's probably deep though.
No,
Like,
don't. I don't want
Where
Bible
did
trivia.
God-
I'll put
oh,
this
like-
out.
What is a garden?
Wait,
Well-
oh, well, those questions are. Wait, what?
How
is
many
it?
times in the Psalms are these conquests? Oh, it's Balaam. Questions about Balaam. Of what sin was man found guilty about the time of the Sabbath breaker?
oh wow.
So,
Wait,
Yeah,
it's-
those
what?
are kind of.
Okay.
See, they word them different.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
first of all, what is a parable? Like, what do you think a parable is? Like, what do you think about it?
It's a story that someone told, that maybe wasn't necessarily something that actually happened, but it was a metaphor or to teach a lesson about something.
Yes.
Even if
Dr.
it
Seuss
didn't.
that didn't rhyme.
Yeah,
Have a
well,
lot of
yeah.
Stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Usually
a
it has a
meaningful
hidden meaning.
Yes, it does.
It's not that hidden usually. It's pretty
story.
obvious.
Yes.
It has to explain it.
Well,
to people,
As I was, which that's what it is.
Yeah.
Moral and spiritual.
but-
So when I was looking at it, I'm like, I kind of knew why Jesus used parables, but I asked Brother Don why Jesus used parables. He said the reason, what I thought and what he said was exactly. He said the reason. Well, why do you think, before that, why do you think Jesus used parables?
It's
Why do you think
a
he
way
used it?
to give a real world example to explain a complicated truth and make it easier to
Yeah,
understand
put it in a medium that's easier to comprehend for some people.
in a more metaphorical way, where you can say, "Oh, I know what that's like," and then you realize that that's what, you know, like when he would start some of these, he'd be like, "The kingdom of heaven is like," and then he'd go
Yes,
into
and
it.
then he'll go into.
And
they're
then
like,
it'd be
"Oh,
easy to
that's what the
understand.
kingdom
Right.
of heaven
Yes.
is like."
Yeah.
Well,
and you're like,
and-
I know all about that subject, instead of having it complicatedly.
Well, because
explained.
if he would have spoken it the way he understood it, they wouldn't understand.
Right. Yeah.
Case in point, Lazarus.
Right, right.
Lazarus, yeah.
Well, because they were farmers. They were farmers, fishermen,
shepherds, all
shepherds,
of them,
and so when you look at
Craftsmen, you know.
a lot of the parables, he relates them to those things. For example, the camel.
Mhm.
When he talks about the camel, well, and then these are just some of the parables. When he's talking about good ground and rocky
Sowing the
ground,
seeds,
sowing the
yeah.
seeds, and like he gave those, and people understood when he told and it says, and Jesus spake this parable, and then taught, and people were like, oh, I
The man
understand.
who like found the pearl in the field,
Yes,
Sure.
and that was something, you know, it was something extremely unlikely,
right.
but
But
it's
they
something that
understood.
know.
Yes, they understood
the
what was.
message, while to make it accessible to everyone, has to be understood by everyone.
Yes.
Which is why the parables were necessary, because, you know, I may not understand something that somebody who's much smarter than me may understand, but when it comes to parables, there's not a lot that you can misunderstand in that, other than not seeing the second meaning of it. But for the most part, you have where you can tell what they're trying to say, and understand it a lot easier, because you're not thinking about you're thinking about it in a physical sense most of the time, instead of trying to think about it in a mental or spiritual sense.
Right. And although when I was looking at it, some of these parables, though, you really have to understand what they're saying. Because even just reading them today, I'm like,
some of them go over my head. I'm like,
right. That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, that's what it's talking about. Right. Well, and then what you have to do too is when you look at the parable, you have to a lot of times look at the story before the parable started, and then that'll give you the of what's going on. Does anybody know what the first parable was? It's one that everybody should know.
When you say it, we're all gonna be like, "Oh, that one."
Yeah.
The Good Shepherd.
No,
Close.
that's New Testament.
Close.
We're doing Old Testament.
We're doing.
Oh no, these are just questions. Nothing in old or new.
Wait, like the first parable that was ever told?
By Jesus? Or?
Yes, by Jesus.
Oh.
It'll be by Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
is that what they're talking about?
Yeah.
The first parable told by Jesus.
See, I don't think these ones are not in order.
Yeah, they're probably not chronological.
Allegedly, which is
When I say it, you're gonna be like, oh, okay.
Oh wait. That means there's some trick here.
It's not a trick.
Is it easy, or are we making it easy?
Technically,
it's easy.
Technically, is it a parable for him? Well, no, that wasn't a parable. The whole temple thing.
No.
It does have to do with sheep.
Oh, that's the same one that I just said.
No, that's a good shepherd.
The guy who follows the sheep and get. Oh no, it's
Shepherd.
Yeah.
Well, it says that the lost sheep was his first parable.
Which? Oh.
I was okay. So
Shepherd, though?
no, I was looking to make sure that it. Okay, so as I'm looking at these, it has the good shepherd, and then it says the second parable of the lost sheep. So I'm guessing maybe that's what they're talking about.
Let's find out.
Okay, so the good shepherd. No, it's in John.
I was just guessing anyway. So.
John 10, and then it says the second parable of the lost sheep is Luke, which we all know which one that one is.
Yeah, Jesus is the good shepherd, John 10.
And then Luke is Oh, listen, I can't look at this without.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Luke 15. That's talking about.
The actual sheep getting lost, right?
No, I think this Luke 15 is talking about. Is it?
In there, hang on. I can get this page.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the lost sheep. It's the joy
What
in
man
heaven
do you have
over
in
one
100
sinner that
sheep if he loses
repented.
one of them, that flees?
Yeah.
And 99 go after that which is lost until you find it.
I don't, like, these are not, I should have looked in, like, chronological order and see which one he told first. But you're really not going to find out as far, because it's only in one book. The lost sheep one is only in one book, and that's Luke. It's not in any other book.
It's not this one, because in chapter 14 he said, and he put forth a parable to those, so it's definitely not the one that we read.
Right. And so that's what it said. We're not quite sure if that's what it
I don't
is.
even know what this means. This is weird.
Heaven's Banquet.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Okay, so let's look at the ones in the Old Testament. And see if we've heard some of the ones in the Old Testament. As I was looking, I probably really have to read the scripture to say for sure if I know.
Yeah.
If I've
Because
heard
then
it.
you read that one word and it like triggers the entire memory.
Right.
Story.
Well, in a lot of the parables, though, when people read them, they are out of the New Testament. They're not out of the Old Testament. So let's look at some of those. Bill, Numbers 23:24. Jessica, Judges 9. That's a long one. 7 through 15. And Lanee, let's do 2 Samuel 14:1. And I'll do
Numbers, what else?
23:24.
Judges is in the Old Testament, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's right after the 5 books of Moses.
What did I say, Lanee, for you? 2 Samuel 14:1. And
How long is that?
it just says 14:1. Some of them aren't that long. And then
This isn't a parable.
is it?
This is the
See, that's what I'm saying. When I was looking them up, I wasn't
woman
sure.
of Tekoa.
But what is this? I said
Did you tell a story?
2 Samuel 14:1, right?
2 Samuel.
These are technically parables, but
There will.
I mean,
there's
They're
metaphors
short.
at this point.
Oh, okay.
At least mine is.
That's what I was saying. Some of them I'm just like, I'm not sure.
no, I don't think this is a parable.
That's why I wasn't sure about the
Yeah.
New Testament ones.
Yeah.
What about yours,
go to
Bill?
the story of Balaam. It's Balaam. But
It's the story of Balaam.
yeah. Well,
I mean,
no.
technically, I guess that's
No. It says, "Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and
Well-
lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he'll eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain."
Okay, so you definitely, yeah, it's kind of
So
a
just have
parable.
precedent
But-
on that. There's so many verses in the Bible that are
Yeah,
better
that is
parables
true.
than
That is true. With that one, I would always have to go before and read the scriptures to get to that one verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what's the difference between the Old Testament and New Testament too, are the stories and how they are betrayed. Old Testament, you have to read the script. You most definitely have to read the scriptures before to understand what is going on in that particular
They
verse.
just kind of say things.
They really do. Whereas the New Testament ones, sometimes it could just be in that one verse before you have to go read the scriptures. The scriptures before and after it to understand what it's saying. Whereas this one,
I have no idea what I'm
Oh, what is it?
oh, hers is Judges 9. Judges 9, 7. Yeah, we're all going to go there.
Yeah.
I looked
none of us
at right
have
after that. then-
No, not in
mine, I
the
like
Old
that
Testament.
David.
That's what I was almost shocked to see that there were parables.
Judges 9 what?
7. 9, 7. And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood in the top of Mount Gerizim and lifted up his voice and cried and said unto them, Hearken unto me, ye men of Shechem, that God may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on the time to anoint a king over them, and they said unto the olive tree, Reign thou over us. You see, that's what
But the olive tree said unto them, Should I leave my fatness wherewith by me they honor God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? And the trees said to the fig tree, Come now and reign over us. But the fig tree said unto them, Should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said the trees unto the vine, Come now and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, Should I leave my wine, which cheereth God and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said all the trees unto the bramble, Come now and reign over us. And the bramble said unto the trees, If in truth ye anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble, and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now therefore, if ye have done truly and sincerely, and that ye have made Abimelech king, and if ye have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have done unto him according to the deserving of his hands, for my father fought for you, and adventured his life far, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian, and ye are risen up against my father's house this day, and have slain his sons 70 persons upon one stone, and have made Abimelech the son of his maidservant king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother.
Okay.
If ye then
Go ahead.
3 more
Yeah,
verses.
go ahead.
If ye then have dealt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal and with his house this day, then rejoice ye in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech, and devour the men of Shechem and the house of Millo, and let fire come out from the men of Shechem and from the house of Millo, and devour Abimelech. And Jotham ran away and fled and went to Beer and dwelt there for fear of Abimelech his brother. Okay, so
Right, well,
That was a parable.
so Jotham,
Yeah. So
it was Jotham
Jotham
is saying that Abimelech was apparently the only guy available because nobody else wanted to rule and leave their comfortable situation. And he's comparing Abimelech to a bramble. And if it's come put your trust in my shadow, and if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. So
So it was a.
so if you really think you've made the right choice, then
you
do whatever you want.
Either stand
But
with me
if you
or
haven't
we're
made the right
enemies.
choice.
Right.
Either stand with me or we're enemies.
So that it says right here, Jotham's parable.
And you know what's funny is that as soon as he was done with that speech, that amazingly bold speech, then there was probably like a moment of silence.
And
where
then he
just
had
thought about it. He's
explained.
like, I have to get out of here, and then he just ran away. He's like, oh.
Right.
You know that moment where you're like, oh, I just
See,
said
I've
something I
never-
should not have.
I've never looked at that and be like, oh,
I've
that
never
was
heard
a
that.
right.
No,
I mean, I've
I
read
mean,
it, but I haven't noticed.
Me neither.
I think like it's a
I think
weird
that's
thing.
why it's weird, and it's
Yeah.
not weird. It's different when you read the ones in the Old Testament, and then when you get to the New Testament, that's probably why there's two separate.
What a funny thing to do, though. It's like, what you've done is you've put into power a king who kills everyone who talks against it. Oh, I gotta get out of here.
Another one, and see, I don't know. See, that's why I wanted to look at them, because I haven't really seen or even thought as you're reading some of these as them being parables. Whereas when you compare them to the New Testament ones, it's totally different. So let's look at some other ones.
Oh, wait a second.
I forgot about it.
Yeah. Okay, so right after he tells this story,
Yeah.
then after Abimelech had reigned for 3 years, God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem, who literally like made him king.
Yeah.
And then they turned against him. This dude named Gale. They conspired and tried to kill him, and Abimelech fought against the city all that day, and he took the city and slew the people that was therein, and beat down the city and sowed it with salt.
Okay.
And then the men of the tower of
But it
Shechem.
was-
And then
oh,
he
it's
got a
okay.
millstone dropped on his head and died.
Well,
But first he has
A certain woman, slay.
Yeah.
A certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head, and all to break his skull.
oh.
Yeah. And then he has his arm
Yeah.
to kill him. 'Cause
I can't
Old
remember
Testament's
one.
deep when it comes to the slaying part.
yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and all
And
the
the
disease,
And
and God rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did unto his father, in slaying his 70 brethren, and all the evil of the men of Shechem did God render upon their heads, and upon them came the curse of Jotham, the son of Jerubbaal. So they got their fire. They
yeah.
got their bramble fire.
Well, that's what it was saying, though.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Could you
No doubt.
imagine living back in those days
Mm-mm.
and everything?
Oh, so it's always
all that
happening.
stuff, I'm like, oh.
In that
Never
case,
again.
I honestly would want to be the children of Israel, because they had it bad, but they didn't have it bad.
Bad, yeah.
It's amazing to me when you read the Bible and you see all these emotions that people have that are exactly the same as what we have now. Like it's
That's true.
like, I can't let men say that a woman killed me. Here, kill me instead. Like, that kind of thing where they're like, I can't let a woman beat me. Like
Oh, I just noticed that. Then he called hastily unto the young man, his armor bearer, and said unto him, Draw thy sword and slay me, that men say not of me. A woman slew him. And the young man thrust him through and died. Oh my goodness.
I think she just got lucky, to be honest. She was
That's so
probably
sad.
just casting on the millstone because she was mad at her husband or something.
All right, there's some.
Okay, look at this
Okay.
millstone. Just
That's enough.
Let's look at. There's one.
Women
This
don't
says
value
Isaiah.
outside of their men.
Let's look at Isaiah.
It was like a penny. She could have dropped it for anything, and it could have broken his skull.
Isaiah 5. This is 5, 1 through 6. We're just looking at the ones that they say are parables, but we're not really sure
The
that
parable of the vineyard.
Oh, so maybe God's judgment upon various sins. That's what it says. God's judgment upon various sins. Now will I sing.
What chapter?
5.
Oh, well.
And this is Isaiah. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower in the midst of it and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked at that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. And I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For your For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In mine ears said the Lord of hosts, O of truth, many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without inhabitant. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield one bath, and the seed of an homer shall yield an ephah. Woe to them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them.
Okay, it's just
Now it's just,
judging their sins.
Yes.
But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment.
yeah.
And God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Man, I feel like that's like the motto of the Old
The Old
Testament,
Testament.
when it comes to God's attitude.
Yes,
towards
it really
people.
is.
But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Wow.
I think that's the difference between God in the Old Testament and God in the New Testament.
Yeah,
God
because
in the Old
Jesus
Testament
was
was
mediator.
Mediator, yes, because Jesus was a mediator in the.
Testament was the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, where it was just I'll put their heads.
I'll put their heads.
Yeah, at all times there was nothing but that.
This is interesting though, because it's what could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it. Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought up forth wild grapes.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
That
to
is
read.
interesting. Like the way that it compares the
Yeah,
place
you did
that
everything you
the
possibly
Israelites
could, and then it still was terrible.
Thank you.
I
So-
I've never heard any of these.
Me neither.
This is fun.
Okay, so let's look at another one. Ezekiel 19 is what it says.
right here. Yeah, right?
What chapter?
19.
The lion, right?
19, it says 2 through 9, if somebody wants to read that.
Yeah.
Oh, this
it's
is about the lion.
thing.
Yeah.
Moreover, take thou up a lamentation for the princes of Israel, and say, What is thy mother? A lioness? She lay down among lions. She nourished her whelps among young lions. And she brought up one of her whelps. It became a young lion, and it learned to catch the prey. It devoured men. The nations also heard of him. He was taken in a pit, and they brought him with chains unto the land of Egypt. Now when she saw that she had waited, and her hope was lost, and she took another of her whelps and made him a young lion. And he went up and down among the lions. He became a young lion, and learned to catch the prey and devour men. And he knew their desolate places, and he laid waste their cities. And the land was desolate, and the fullness thereof, by the noise of his roaring. Then the nations set against him on every side from the provinces, and spread their net over him. He was taken in their pit. And they put him in ward in chains, and brought him to the king of Babylon. They brought him into holds, that his voice should no more be heard upon the mountains of Israel. And then it goes to a lamentation for Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And that
Wait,
is like a
why does that
lament
sound
against-
So is this a Yo Mama joke?
No.
No.
But why
She
does-
was like a vine in thy blood, planted by the water. She was fruitful and full of branches by reason of many waters. So talking about how good, but she was plucked up in fury. She was cast down to the ground, and the east wind dried up her fruit. Her strong rods were broken and withered, the fire consumed her. And now she is planted in the wilderness, in a dry and thirsty ground. This is a lamentation, and shall be for a lamentation. So,
Well, in the beginning, though, when you were reading it, it almost sounded like Joseph. Because the nations also heard of him. He was taken in their pit, and they brought him with chains unto the land of Egypt.
oh, that's true.
And when she saw that she had waited and her hope was lost, then she took another of her whelps and made him a young lion. Because when Joseph was the favorite. Well, he was so much the favorite that his brothers decided to throw him in a pit and then sell him to eat.
Would those be the young lions?
I wonder if those are the
Among young lions?
among young lions.
That's
Maybe.
interesting. Or maybe it's just a,
Oh, just
because this says a lamentation for Israel's princes.
yeah, this says the parable of the lion's whelps.
Became a young lion, and catch the prey and devour them.
But it doesn't give us what the moral of the story like really was.
Yeah.
It kind of leaves you hanging.
Put him on and chains, brought him to the. Yeah, I think it's just a.
I just can't look
I
at
think
verse
it's
2
a,
without thinking of it.
Just a metaphor
Yeah.
about where the children
Children
of
of
Israel
Israel
were.
were, yeah.
Because Egypt put him in warden chains and brought him to the
Yeah.
king of Babylon. They brought
That's
him to hold
the
him
heat.
no more be heard upon him.
The children of Israel were slaves in Egypt.
And in Babylon. Fury. She was cast down to the ground, and the east wind dried up her fruit.
Yeah, so that makes sense. They were taken away and became slaves.
The fire consumed them.
They were taken away and became slaves. And
And fire is gone out of a rod of her branches, which hath devoured, hath no strong rod to be a scepter to rule. This is a lamentation, and so be her lamentation.
Mhm.
Oh, that's
Did she
interesting.
that is
Yeah.
backslip or something?
Yeah,